for those of you who need it, and I think we all do, here's the perspective from black media regarding the Alton Sterling shooting.
Barbara Online, founding president of the Transformative Justice Coalition. Huey Newsom, contributor for Project 21's National Leadership Network of Black Conservatives. Lauren Victoria Burke, managing editor for Politic365.com. Folks, when you look at this particular case, yes, the two cops are on administrative leave. I do think it is important that beyond the Department of Justice launching a civil rights probe, the U.S. Attorney's Office is the one, Barbara, that is handling this investigation, not the State Bureau of Investigation, not the local DA, but the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Well, I think that's important, but the real problem here is Leo Board, right? Which is the process that gives the police what's called their Bill of Rights, meaning that in the state of Louisiana, you cannot force a police officer to give any statement. Up to 30 days, he has the right to get in a counsel, and until he has a counsel, within 30 days, you can't question him.
So you mean to tell me that in the case of these two officers, typically in most states,
yes,
after a shooting, there's an immediate interview for the officer as that way they can speak right after. It's fresh in their minds what happened. The state law in Louisiana says they don't have to talk even to the police department for 30 days?
That's correct. They cannot be questioned. And, you know, what's going on is that the Leo Board was created in 1974 following the Supreme Court's cases in Garrity and in Gardner, where basically the Supreme Court said police had obligations not to shoot people when fleeing, not to do other things to make police more accountable. And what happened was the Fraternal Order of Police, their Grand Lodge, launched a campaign of legislation. 14 states, as of April last year, had already adopted these laws, including Maryland was the first state. Maryland, they have 7 days to not have to give a statement. And in most states, they give between 7 and 30 days.
And this is one of the most fundamental problems I think people have, Huey and Laura, with this, is because, again, a different set of rules for cops.
Right, exactly.
Why in the world would you say a cop cannot give a statement up to 30 days after a shooting when the best time is literally right after, in the hours after a shooting, where it is freshest in your mind, as opposed to, oh, I can go back and wait and then come up with another rationale?
Force police in America to have, there is no system of accountability for police in America for the most part, as there is for our military. I mean, you could not imagine these videos coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. If there were 2 Marines holding a guy down in Afghanistan and shot him in that manner, they would be in trouble, or if it was Walter Scott or anything else. So there's a system of accountability for our military. There is not a system of accountability, a system of excuses for our police.
Protection.
We make excuses for our police.
Protection.
You know, it's a tough job, it's this and that. And frankly, if you watch a lot of these cops, if you see what's going on, you're seeing a certain age group of cops. You're not seeing, you know, veteran officers. You're seeing younger officers.
In this case,
3 and 4 years.
On the force.
And so we're going, you know, there'll be excuses. He ripped for something. And so there is no accountability for our police. And as you saw, they panicked in the case of Mr. Sterling. They panicked. They totally panicked at the end, and the gun goes off. They had no control over the situation.
Because here, if you actually see the original video that we saw, guys, please pull that video up. You see them talking to Alton Sterling,
yeah,
and all of a sudden you see a cop playing linebacker,
right, and
charging a guy when first, let's dial it back. They get a 911 phone call.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Woman says, black guy outside of a store selling CDs.
Okay, it was not a woman, it was a homeless guy. The dispatcher, which was a woman, told the cops about the person outside the store selling CDs and brandishing a weapon. So let's just get that straight. It was a homeless man that made the initial call into the police department. The dispatcher, who was a woman, told the officers who responded that there was a person in a red shirt selling CDs that had brandished a gun.
The store owner knew the guy, and hopefully we can get the store owner on the phone as soon as possible, guys. Say the guy was well known.
Right.
The guy gave money to people, gave CDs out, helped people.
Yes.
The cops are to come on to a scene, Hewitt, and you would think, de-escalate the situation. Sir, we got a phone call, exactly what is going on. Guy talks to him, blah, 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 blah. I'm just trying to understand, how does it escalate to, let me bum rush and tackle this guy?
Because we don't have a standard operating procedure. I think Lauren talked about it. We don't have a standard operating procedure for cops. We know we're not going. The chance of us getting a national standard operating procedure for police engagement is improbable. But at the state level, we have to get involved and start asking for tangible things. We know that these engagements are wrong. I mean, if you look at what happened in Louisiana, if you look at what happened in Ferguson, we looked at what happened in New York, all these, there are different problems with the way police are engaging this. We need to start demanding very specific
Right, and the requirements in Baton Rouge are very low. In New York, you have to have 2 years of military, 2 years of college, you have to have some life experience on most departments. Baton Rouge, you don't have that. You could be a 21-year-old cop on the street. And so Darren Wilson is
But here's the other piece. This, to me, again, fundamentally, when cops don't go to jail,
Yes.
when cops don't have to pay the ultimate crime,
Right.
I can pretty much do what I want because I pretty much know I'm going to get off.
Oh, absolutely
Right.
right.
And also, let's deal with this, everyone. More than 80% of all police officers, all police forces, that is, receive money from the Department of Justice. They receive federal funding.
Right.
The Department of Justice could condition, there's no reason why they can't condition their funding and say that in order for you to get that federal funding, you must have an independent investigation.
Well, but the Department of Justice,
And look,
they won't even implement the deadly custody bill.
Let me just
That's in 2014.
I'm just saying that you got that
Right.
Department of
DOJ
but it could-
What's that?
well, my point is to Huey's point is that it could be different. It's not different because we're not doing the
Right.
job.
And-
The federal government's not doing the
And
job.
Lauren, we saw North Carolina, where the Department of Justice, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, came out and threatened North Carolina that they will pull federal funds when it came to transgender bathrooms.
you know,
And so where's the news conference?
That's the priority. See, that's the priority for this administration. African Americans have never been a top priority for this administration. And our issues, of course, are life and death. These other issues, I'm not saying that the gay agenda or the immigration agenda is not important. Those are not life and death issues. These are life and death issues
It all
in
comes
Black
down
America.
to money, right? Because you still have labor that's working on behalf of police that has the ear of Washington right now.
No, it comes down to advocacy.
It becomes the advocacy
nobody
of African
Nobody is in the president's ear right now to make your demand.
Hold tight 1 second, folks, because we come back. Again, we're trying to get the store owner there in Baton Rouge on the phone with his.
All right, so that'll give you pretty much the perspective of black media on this situation.